pardon my French, but every one of these third world migrants in America, including the legal ones, has their own nation to They have work to do at home. We don't need them here. Deport them all. All illegal, asylum, refugee, student visa, OPT, H-1B, all of them. Sarah Beckstrom died of her wounds, inflicted by this Afghani monster. Walked up to her. You know when she was sworn in one day before she was killed? Walked up to this woman with a drawn revolver and shot her through the chest, and then took her weapon and started trying to kill other guardsmen. Just walked up to this woman. It's such cowardice. Walked up with a drawn gun, shot her through the chest. Like anybody can defend themselves against that. Just an assassination. Heartbreaking. Nick Sorter tells us National Guardsman Sarah Beckstrom's father, Gary, responds to her killing, says, "My baby girl has passed to glory. This has been a horrible tragedy. She's certainly in my prayers. I know she's in all of your prayers. My baby girl has passed to glory. If I don't talk to you, don't be offended. This has been a horrible tragedy." I can't imagine. I'm the father of 4, 3 daughters. One's an adult. Can't imagine. I can't imagine how it must gut a parent to have a child taken like this. And of course, there's also Andrew Wolf was shot. My understanding is he was shot through the head. So that's not good. And then the American heroism. So once this monster started shooting our National Guardsmen, these 2 people, Andrew Wolf, Sarah Bergstrom, another National Guardsman, armed only with a folding knife, charged that Muslim gunman with knife in hand and started stabbing him in the head like a boss. Like a boss. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the sheer balls it took to do that? To run into a gunfight with a little folding knife in your hand and try to shove it through this monster's skull? I am sure we can expect that guy to be appropriately commended by our commander-in-chief. This piece of human feces that America generously allowed into our nation, paid to live with his wife and 4, 5 children at taxpayer expense. You know, he didn't work. He played video games all day. More on that in a moment. When he wasn't playing video games, of course, he was assassinating America's National Guardsmen. Breaking: National Guardsman Sarah Bergstrom has died. President Trump has announced her family was with her. She was outstanding in every single way, in every department. The other soldier, Andrew Wolf, is still fighting for his life. Again, prayers for their families. As Elon Musk says, my deepest condolences to the families of the 2 National Guardsmen who were murdered in cold blood today. At the time, I believe, this was a couple days ago now. It was widely reported they had both been killed. Of course, now we know they did an immediate lie, but Sarah Bergstrom has, of course, passed. How many innocent people dying does it take to reform our broken system? Radical action is needed. And this is a blessing, my friends, because when Elon Musk notes that radical action on third world migration into America is needed, that means we'll be free to talk about it on X. And if we're free to talk about it on X, that tends to somewhat relax the standards on the other platforms. Talking to you, YouTube. Will Chamberlain points out a sentiment I certainly share. I think all genuine Americans share. The life of a single National Guardsman is worth more than the right of the entire population of Afghan refugees to remain in the United States. I'd go further. It's worth more than the right of not just every illegal third world migrant in the United States. It's worth more than the right of every legal third world migrant on some kind of asylum or refugee visa to be in the United States. It's worth more. The life of Sarah Beckstrom is worth more than the right of every third world denizen to be present in my nation. Every third world denizen present in America must be sent home immediately. They do nothing but degrade our high trust first world American culture into the kind of shithole they come from. Pardon my French, but every one of these third world migrants in America, including the legal ones, has their own nation to They have work to do at home. We don't need them here. Deport them all. All illegal, asylum, refugee, student visa, OPT, H-1B, All of them. America has no need of any substantial numbers of third world denizens within our national borders. Trump has released this statement. I'm sure most of you have read it by now, but we'll read it too. A very happy Thanksgiving salutation to all our great American citizens and patriots who've been so nice in allowing our country to be divided, disrupted, carved up, murdered, beaten, mugged, and laughed at, along with certain other foolish countries throughout the world for being politically correct and just plain stupid when it comes to immigration. Am I the only one who can hear the Overton window smashing? The official United States foreign population stands at 53 million people. It's 4 times that, my friends. There are 90 million illegal migrant third world invaders in our nation, and there are another 90 million legal third world migrants in our nation, 180 in total. You wonder why the rent's too damn high? The cost of living is so high? It's because you, as an American citizen, are competing with almost 200 million third world migrants in our nation who are consuming every scarce American resource: housing, healthcare, education, employment, infrastructure, social services, food, everything. You're competing with them for those scarce resources, which drives up their cost. And even worse, if you're one of the mere 100 million Americans who's an individual net income taxpayer, talking to you, white men, if you're one of those 100 million, remember there's almost 200 million third world migrants in the country. If you're one of the 100 million, mostly white men who are net taxpayers, not only are you competing for your family for those scarce American resources against the competition of those third world invaders of our nation, you are being taxed to give them the money to compete with you. They're on welfare. They're in Section 8 housing. They have EBT cards. They're getting SNAP. And we're pretending that their children born on American soil are our fellow citizens. They are not. Looks like I may blow up my vocal cords before I'm done with today's show. The official United States foreign population stands at 53 million, most of which are on welfare from failed nations or from prisons, mental institutions, gangs, or drug cartels. They and their children are supported through massive payments from patriotic American citizens who, because of their beautiful hearts, do not want to openly complain or cause trouble in any way, shape, or form. They put up with what has happened to our country, but it's eating them alive to do so. A migrant earning $30,000 with a green card will get roughly $50,000 in yearly benefits for their family. The real migrant population is much higher. Indeed, it is. This refugee burden is the leading cause of social dysfunction in America, something that did not exist after World War II. Failed schools, high crime, urban decay, overcrowded hospitals, housing shortages, large deficits. Man, Stephen Miller has finally gotten Trump's ear again. As an example, hundreds of thousands of refugees from Somalia are completely taking over the once great state of Minnesota. Somalian gangs are roving the streets looking for prey as our wonderful people stay locked in their apartments and houses, hoping against hope that they will be left alone. The seriously retarded governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, does nothing, either through fear, incompetence, or both. While the worst congressman woman in our country, Ilhan Omar, always wrapped in her swaddling hijab. How's her brother doing, by the way? Anybody know how Ilhan Omar's brother is doing these days? Is he still married? Ilhan Omar, always wrapped in her swaddling hijab and who probably came into the USA illegally, and that you are not allowed to marry your brother, does nothing but hatefully complain about our country, its constitution, and how badly she is treated when her place of origin, Somalia, is a decadent, backward, crime-ridden nation, which is essentially not even a country for lack of government, military, police, schools, etc. Even as we have progressed technologically, immigration policy has eroded those gangs and living conditions for many. Imagine what productive America could have done with the trillions upon trillions upon trillions of dollars that we spent on these various underclasses, a large majority of which are not even American citizens. We could have colonized the solar system. Trump says, I will permanently pause migration from all third world countries to allow the U.S. system to fully recover, terminate all of the millions of Biden illegal admissions, including those signed by Sleepy Joe Biden's auto pen, and remove anyone who is not a net asset to the United States or is incapable of loving our country, and end all federal benefits and subsidies to non-citizens of our country, denaturalize migrants who undermine domestic tranquility. Yes! And deport any foreign national who is a public charge, security risk, or non-compatible with Western civilization. That is probably understood to mean every third world migrant in America is non-compatible with Western civilization. The rare exceptions can be evaluated on a one-on-one basis from their home nations. These goals will be pursued with the aim of achieving a major reduction in illegal and disruptive populations, including those admitted through an unauthorized and illegal auto pen approval process. Only reverse migration, it's beautiful to see, can fully cure the situation. Other than that, happy Thanksgiving to all, except those that hate, steal, murder, and destroy everything that America stands here. You won't be here for long. Here. I love, how can you not love this man? Donald J. Trump, amazing. Increasingly, second only, assuming, of course, this gets implemented in fairness. If this gets implemented, if he saves America from this third world invasion, he'll be second only to George Washington. It'll be a second birth of our nation. Breaking, more than 18,000 immigration attorneys lost their jobs on Thanksgiving. Expect a surge of outrage and scrambling in the coming days. Fellows, please be kind to them. They've lost their livelihood built on destroying America. Those poor immigration lawyers. This is one of them. He highlights a part here. We're going to be removing anyone who's not a net asset to the United States or is incapable of loving our country. End all federal benefits, denaturalize migrants who undermine domestic tranquility. Anyone who's a public charge, security risk, non-compatible with Western civilization. These goals will be pursued with the aim of achieving a major reduction in illegal and disruptive populations. And this guy, Andrew Feinberg, writes, this sounds a lot like they're going to start trying to cancel green cards and denaturalize large numbers of non-white people who came here legally based purely on ideological and religious tests. And I'm like, so what's the problem? What exactly is the problem? I voted for this 1,000,000 times over. That's exactly what I want. If people are not culturally suitable for America, they ought not be here. And I don't care what their skin color is, what their ideology, or what their religion is. If any of that is inconsistent with American culture, they belong in their home nations. Nobody has a right to be in America who is not an American citizen. Here's another immigration attorney. My fellow immigration attorney colleagues and me are about to receive thousands of panicked emails from good people freaking out on behalf of their friends and families. Let's take a deep breath. We'll get through this. I want you to get through it. I want to be clear, folks. I don't have any animosity for Afghanis or Somalians or Haitians or Venezuelans or Mexicans or Indians. I wish them all the greatest success in life in the world. Go forth and prosper. Just do it in your home nations and get out of mine. You are not entitled to be in my house. This guy is just a hard left wacko, just wants to tax the ultra wealthy, all left-wing nonsense. He writes, Trump's threat to ban migration from third world countries, an outdated term. Is it outdated? Does anyone have any trouble distinguishing between a first world and a third world country? Any of you who have traveled? An outdated term is returning to a pre-1965 America where immigration from nations like India was severely restricted. My parents would not have been welcome. Oh my God, it sounds like a horror story. It sounds like a horror story. I can't believe it. This shitbag's parents would not have been welcome. I wonder why. Pre-1965 America? The horror. I'd be happy going back to, 1980s America. It wasn't that bad, my friends. It looked a lot like this. A nation when America was not awash and 200 million illegal third world savages exploiting our high trust culture for their own benefit, their tribal benefit, against the interest of Americans and American citizens? The horror! Rokana here continues his threat to revoke citizenship to those he views as non-compatible after how hard immigrants from places like Mexico, El Salvador, and Guatemala have worked to earn citizenship is callous and frightening. I don't give a shit. Too bad. Hey, you know what? You don't have to worry about any of this in Mexico, El Salvador, and Guatemala. You know what Trump's not doing? Interfering with you at home. Rokana continues, what may be a casual rant on social media by the president is devastating to millions of hardworking, law-abiding immigrant families. Well, how about what's devastating to millions of hardworking, law-abiding American citizen families? Isn't that what the American citizen leadership is supposed to be prioritizing over the interests of third world savages? Rokana continues, this is not the time for politicians to cave. Indeed, Trump, do not cave in your support for American people. Rokana says, I'm sick of politicians demonizing immigrants. Too fucking bad. Too bad. And voting for things like the Laken Riley Act. Laken Riley, who was murdered by another one of these third world savages that deprive immigrants of their basic rights. You know where you can enjoy your basic rights, Rokana? You can enjoy them back in India. Make India everything you want it to be. Go home and unfuck India and get out of my house. We must stand up for the contributions immigrants make to America. You don't get to make that call, my friend. American citizens get to decide who is in our house. It need not be you. As I say here, if Rokana hates an immigration policy, you know that it's good for America. You can be absolutely confident of that. By the way, it's worth thinking back to this assassination of our National Guard. My buddy David Viva Fry writes, I wonder what could have possibly motivated CIA assets, because now we know he worked for CIA hit squads basically in Afghanistan, Ramanolu Lakanwal, to shoot two members of the National Guard. I wonder who could have given him the political permission slip to do such a thing. Senator Slotkin.
At these videos coming out of places like Chicago, it makes me incredibly nervous that we're about to see people in law enforcement, people in uniform military get nervous, get stressed, shoot at American civilians. It is a very, very stressful.
So she's telling the public, including this Afghan migrant assassin, that the National Guard in the streets of American cities might just be about to go psycho and murder people. I'm not going to play too much of her. Of course, we have Jasmine Crockett, whose congressional district got eliminated by the Texas redistricting plan, currently working its way through the courts. Jasmine Crockett says, oh, my prayers are with the National Guardsmen injured, like they fell off a ladder, like they stumbled over a curb. Injured. How about maimed and murdered? Injured. I got a paper cut this morning. I was injured. Her prayers, thoughts and prayers are with the National Guard members injured in today's senseless shooting. Grateful for the officers and first responders. You know, Jasmine Crockett's the same woman. She literally called the National Guard slave patrols one day before these shootings. Slave patrols. This from barely a month ago. Senator Slotkin, it's only a matter of time before things get worse. By my estimation, we are about 2 weeks away from a bloody incident that spirals out of control.
As a CIA officer, the idea that intelligence officers could be asked to target Americans turns my stomach. And it would shift us into a modern-day surveillance state.
Of course, like any of this is new for the left. And of course, it's what she's doing in real time, is using CIA color revolution techniques on Americans, propaganda techniques on American citizens. Breaking. United States Customs and Immigration Services announces it is suspending all immigration applications for Afghan nationals effective immediately. This would include work permits, asylum and refugee requests, naturalization, family benefits. United States Customs and Immigration Service oversees legal immigration into the U.S. Why is this only Afghans? Third world Afghans have no particularly greater negative effect on American culture than every other third world migrant. This should be every third world migrant. This should read, breaking, United States Customs and Immigration Service announces it is suspending all immigration applications from any third world nation, any of them. Breaking, President Trump and Kristi Noem are officially terminating the temporary protected status of Haitians. That's good. Can you believe they brought in a third of a million Haitians into America? For what purpose? Homeland Security, all Afghan refugee resettlement was halted the day President Trump took office. Travel to and from Afghanistan was banned as well. This refers to the status of Afghan nationals that entered the U.S. prior to Trump taking office. Hopefully, we're not letting any more in. This is an interesting point I have talked about before, and I'm 150% for this. All President Trump has to do is massively increase self-deportations, is to ban illegal aliens from being able to send any remittances back to their home nations. Illegal aliens. It's an unlawful transfer of illegal income. Illegal aliens send a third of their illegal income back to their families in their home countries. If we make it impossible for them to transfer it home, that eliminates a huge reason for why they are there. That's true, but it doesn't go far enough. This account notes tax remittances at 100%. No welfare for non-citizens. 100% annual fee per visa, including spousal visas. 5-year minimum jail time for U.S. citizens found employing illegal aliens. That sounds great, but it doesn't go far enough. For example, remittances taxed at 100%. That shouldn't just be for illegal migrants in America. That should be for legal migrants as well. Legal migrants as well. Why do we allow migrants in America who come here presumably to benefit America? Why else would we let them in, right? The only reason we should be letting migrants in is if we believe they will benefit America. Why should we allow them in and then allow them to send hundreds of billions of dollars out of the American economy to foreign nations? Why do we allow any remunerations to other countries? We don't have to allow that. If you want to come to America and work or study or whatever, if you're studying, you're not supposed to be making an income. But if you want to come to America and work and we allow you to do that, all that money stays here as long as you are here. Now, once your 3-year or 6-year visa is up, you want to move back to your home nation, you want to take your acquired wealth with you, fine. You get a one-time exit. You take it with you when you leave our nation permanently. I'll let you take your money with you. But what I will not allow is for you to live here indefinitely for decades and act as an eternal siphon of hundreds of billions of dollars out of the American economy. We're not doing that. We are not doing that. So there should be no remittances allowed. Don't tax them at 1% or 50%. It's just not allowed. Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. As part of his escalating crackdown on illegals, President Trump Treasury has issued a memo stating it will begin seizing remittances sent abroad by illegals, with all suspicious transactions over $2,000 to be flagged. Again, it should not just be remittances from illegals. It should be from every migrant in America. Thousands of former international student visas will expire soon. What happens next is murky. No, it ought not be murky. They expire. That's it. They're done. If they are a visa in the possession of a third worlder, we don't need them here. Either they're smart and capable and nobody needs them more than their home nation, or they're not. And we certainly don't need them either.